After seemingly endless rumors, Bethesda finally pulled back the curtain on Virtuous's remaster, or maybe remake, of The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. An Elder Scrolls Direct of sorts culminated in the surprise shadow drop, which near immediately transformed into hundreds of thousands of concurrent players. This moment of global hype and celebration feels like a much-needed win for Bethesda after a lackluster few years. From the long journey to course-correct Fallout 76 misfire launch, to the less than stellar reception of its new sci-fi universe Starfield, the studio's most recent output has had many fans asking the same question. Has Bethesda lost the magic? There's fiercer competition in the RPG space these days, with Larian Studios' Baldur's Gate 3 and Obsidian's The Outer Worlds franchises both garnering critical acclaim as Elder Scrolls and Fallout spiritual successors. Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 may be years away from reclaiming their crowns, but this re-release of Oblivion may be a step in the right direction, just not in the direction you might expect. At its peak, Bethesda Game Studios was an RPG juggernaut. In 2020, Microsoft's leaked FTC documents revealed that Fallout 4 had sold 25 million units to date, with a fifth of those sold in its first week alone, according to VG Charts. Likewise, in 2023, Todd Howard announced that Skyrim had sold more than 60 million copies, making it one of the best-selling games of all time. This isn't exactly surprising when you consider it's been released and re-released for 3 generations of consoles, ported to Switch and VR, and even given a novelty audio-only version for Amazon Alexa.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climb it.
As Todd Howard put it, if you want us to stop releasing it, stop buying it. Unfortunately, Starfield didn't quite get the same reception. Estimates put it at just over 3 million units sold a year and a half post-launch. In all fairness, that number would be higher if it accounted for downloads by Game Pass subscribers, and it'll likely see a bump whenever it winds up on PS5, but even so, it's hard to imagine Bethesda considers this a success compared to its previous RPGs. Starfield did attract its share of players who were able to overlook its shortcomings at launch, but even after its most staunch defenders were vocally disappointed with the Shattered Space expansion, it doesn't seem like that fan base is exactly growing. We saw Bethesda commit to turning things around for Fallout 76, but that was a live service spin on an already established, very lucrative IP. As it stands right now, the prospect of a Starfield sequel seems iffy at best. This all leaves Bethesda with a big problem. With The Elder Scrolls 6 years away and Fallout 5 barely a twinkle in Todd Howard's eye, how can this once iconic RPG developer enchant their fanbase once more? The answer lies in its past.
Find him and close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
Rumors of an Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remaster began in September 2023 when leaked Microsoft documents revealed a number of unannounced Bethesda titles, including a remaster of 2006's landmark Trip to Tamriel. It also includes another interesting remaster, which we'll get to. All was quiet until January 2025 when a former employee of Virtuous let slip more details suggesting that not only was the Oblivion remaster for real, but it was coming sooner than expected. In the week leading up to the remaster's official announcement, there were 6.4 million Google searches for the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, a 713% increase week over week. At its high point, Bethesda's reveal livestream had over 500,000 viewers watching. Despite the leaks, or perhaps because of them, over 600,000 people tuned in to see a 19-year-old game re-revealed to them. The intense, fervent demand to play the remaster caused discount game key websites like CD Keys to crash and slowed Fanatical and Green Man Gaming to a crawl. The day it launched, Steam's concurrent players peaked at 171,000, with the game perched squarely at the top of the charts. And bear in mind, for much of the Western Hemisphere, Oblivion's reveal and subsequent shadow drop took place during business hours squarely in the middle of the work week. One can't help but wonder how much Bethesda is to blame for a dip in global productivity.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice.
It can often be hard to figure out how to make a large fan base happy, but the response to Oblivion's remaster sends a pretty clear message to Bethesda. If you rebuild it, they will come.
That voice just now, what was it?
What better way to keep fans engaged and invested during these long development periods than to invite them back to the mysterious Isles of Morrowind, or to offer them another tour of the Capital Wasteland's irradiated ruins? From a commercial standpoint, it makes clear sense. While Bethesda's main development staff toils away on long gestating new projects, trusted partners like Virtuous can use historic blueprints to craft remasters in shorter timeframes. Bethesda's earlier games have built-in audiences who will not only jump at the chance to revisit these open worlds they remember so fondly, but will loudly evangelize them along the way, helping get the attention of a whole generation of gamers who missed them the first time around. Time flies when you're having fun or just getting old, but it's worth noting that Fallout 3 is old enough to play M-rated video games without the ESRB batting an eye, and the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is old enough to buy its own skooma without getting carded.
I love that stuff. Been drinking it for years.
Bethesda has already strategically uplifted its own catalog once before. During the first season of Prime Video's live-action Fallout series, Fallout 4 was discounted by up to 75% off and also got a cleverly scheduled next-gen update which patched in certain homages from the show. As a result, Fallout 4 sales jumped over 7,500% in Europe alone, despite the game being nearly a decade old. Looking back to Microsoft's leaked Bethesda roadmap, many noted that a Fallout 3 remaster was listed to follow Oblivion 2 years later. It's important to note the timelines from this original presentation have shifted a bit, as Oblivion was originally slated for fiscal year 2022. However, assuming these original gaps remain true, it appears a Fallout 3 remake could be in the cards for 2026, which would coincide nicely with the return of the series. Meanwhile, leaked set photos indicate this upcoming season will venture into New Vegas. Is it possible we'll see Obsidian's fan-favorite Black Sheep get a modern overhaul as well? Bethesda shadow-dropped Oblivion. It's not out of the realm of possibility that a New Vegas remastered trailer is lying in wait to capitalize on the hype surrounding Season 2 of the Fallout series. However, if there's one game in Bethesda's back catalog that deserves to be remade the most, it is undeniably The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Many Elder Scrolls fans have spent years Fusro dying on the mountaintop for this, with one group of superfans going as far to remake Morrowind using Skyrim's tools a la Skyblivion. Even so, remaking Morrowind to the same degree as Oblivion is a tall order. The third mainline Elder Scrolls entry sits on the precipice between Bethesda's evolutions as a studio, and the experience is fundamentally different from more modern Elder Scrolls games. Morrowind is only partially voiced, most of the story is told through text. There are no quest markers, so players must either memorize or write down directions given by NPCs, and combat physics are comically non-existent. Whereas Virtuous was able to overhaul some of the more finicky systems of Oblivion, the entirety of Morrowind is a finicky system. It's why many love the game, which is why remaking it would be a difficult balancing act. Modernize it too much and it loses some of its original magic, enraging the longtime fans, but leave too many antiquated systems in place and run the risk of alienating newcomers expecting something more in line with Skyrim or Oblivion. When a studio becomes the icon of a gaming subgenre, the challenge is this: how do you innovate and evolve while holding on to an existing audience? Rockstar Games has kept Grand Theft Auto players satisfied for over a decade through the ever-expanding multiplayer world of GTA Online, which in turn fuels the eye-wateringly expensive rumored budget for GTA 6. Bethesda's bread and butter is richly detailed, expansive worlds that are resolutely single-player. Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76 just don't hit in the same way. However, what's clear through the overwhelming response to Virtuous's Oblivion Remaster is that gamers are more than on board to dive back into the historic annals of Elder Scrolls of years gone by. That's not to say that any remaster is a slam dunk. This particular one is a clear product of careful consideration and skilled development, and a lesser game may have garnered a very different response. For instance, take Rockstar's own GTA Definitive Editions. But handled properly, what better way for the former king of the modern RPG to get back on track than to breathe some new life into old classics? Oblivion Remastered is one of the best, albeit worst kept surprises of 2025 so far, so the big question now is, what next? Which gets you more excited, an all-new Elder Scrolls or Fallout that's still years away, or a shiny coat of paint and some fine-tuning for a Bethesda game that was great to begin with? Let us know in the comments, and for more on Oblivion, check out our comparison of the 2006 original running side by side with the remaster. And for everything gaming, new, old, fantastic, or post-apocalyptic, you are already in the right place, IGN.
Here you must find your own path.
Remember the Emperor!